Pull out the boxing gloves. We got a heavyweight battle for you for the Central Division Championship. Game 1 between the Windsor Express and the London Lightning in the 2017 Central Division Finals of the NBLC playoffs. Good evening, folks. Welcome once again to NBL Canada Basketball here on Knockstrom.tv. We have Chris Croucher joining us, and we begin with Windsor first, sweeping the KW Titans in what was a close Game 3. But now, with Nick Evans coming back into the string of things after playing in Saudi Arabia, it really adds up to what they got to do inside the post.
Yeah, Windsor barely getting through that KW series, and I think a guy like Nick Evans could have played a big part in that series for them. But coming into this one against London, it's a good thing that they have Nick Evans. He's going to be that guy looked to provide that interior defense, just kind of be that space eater in the post, so that guys like Royce White can't really play their style of game, can't really play very easily, take away some of the room that they like to use to operate. So I think having Nick Evans could be a very big difference for the Windsor Express coming into this series. Of course, London knows how to deal with him. They played against him while he was a member of the Express before, but I don't think they've had to do it while worrying about some long-range shooting from Logan Stutz as a stretch 4 almost for the Windsor Express. So it'll be a different look, but not a drastically one, and I'm intrigued to see how it plays out.
And in the backcourt, too, with the Windsor Express, you got Rookie of the Year, Maurice Jones, led the league in all-time assists in one season. How do you think he's going to fare against this powerful backcourt team this afternoon?
Well, we've seen London from time to time has had difficulty with the speedier guards. It's a problem that they got a lot better at dealing with as the season went on. But you never know when a guy might go off, and Maurice Jones, the guy we've seen have himself a good game against London before. Those smaller, quick guards can be annoying for London to defend. They've been able to do it, but we've also seen Maurice Jones have success here. It'll be interesting to see which side we see tonight.
And for the London Lightning, league MVP, newly crowned MVP, Royce White. And from what I've seen from the projected lineup, Chris, he would go up against Nick Evans. So how powerful will that matchup be when it comes to this best-of-7 series?
Well, it's going to be a very physical battle. Both players known for maybe drawing some whistles from the referee, whether good or bad. So I think for both guys, we're going to see that kind of a battle. It's going to be physical. Both guys are going to try and take away each other's space. And for Royce White, it's going to be interesting. He just had a series in which he kind of was given plenty of room to operate against Orangeville. Now he's up against a team that's going to take that all away.
And on the other end, Garrett Williamson, most people know that he's very efficient, especially when it comes to the postseason. How does he find himself into the mold of this playoffs?
Well, I think Garrett Williamson might be the X factor of this series, and I know that's not going out on a limb. This is a guy who had 28 and 29 points respectively in the final 2 games of that Orangeville series. But last season when they played against the Windsor Express, Garrett Williamson had himself a strong playoff, including a double-double in Game 3. So I think for him coming in hot and having a history of success against the Windsor Express, he's a guy who could go off here and have himself a big series.
Over to the keys of the game. If you're the Windsor Express, what do you have to do to take away home court advantage from the London Lightning in Game 1?
Well, I think play inside out. They've got to be able to make their threes. And I think that's going to come from guys like Patillo, guys like Stutz, guys like Evans being able to pass out to the three-point line. When London brings that extra attention, Windsor's got to make them pay for it. So when London brings extra guys inside, look out to that three-point line, because that might be the deciding factor in the game.
And for the London Lightning, Kyle Julius knows this is going to be a match among heavyweights. How is this team, what does the team have to do to make sure they claw onto the lead and make sure nothing gets through them?
Well, it's actually a pretty similar strategy for London. If they're able to get their three-point shooters going, guys like Kyle Johnson and Ryan Anderson, they're going to be able to space the floor, make guys like Stutz and Evans, if Windsor wants to go big, those guys are going to have to move their feet. So if you make them think that, if you make Windsor have to move on defense a lot, I think London can get themselves a nice advantage. And of course, it's been a battle of pace between these two teams every time we've seen them play. And I think London, it's important for them to assert a fast pace in the game. Windsor's been going with a shorter bench in the playoffs, so I think if you're London, make them run, get those guys tired, and try to use your depth to your advantage as well.
And it's pretty much well said. As we wrap up the Knockstrom pregame, here's an interesting fun fact. A year ago today, the Central Division Final started, and it was the Windsor Express coming out and taking Game 1 from the Lightning here at Budweiser Gardens. At the end of it, it was the Lightning finishing it off in 6 games, so it's quite interesting when you see that. So it might be different this year. Windsor Express looked to flip over that result from last year. London Lightning, however, they got their eyes set on the championship because a lot of things are at stake. We have plenty of time left, but let's talk about the awards from this league this year. Of course, we talked about Royce White winning the MVP. Second off, you have Maurice Jones as Rookie of the Year, and no question about it, with those assists he's been dishing out throughout the season, it's no surprise there. We could talk about all in all about the Canadian Players of the Year, of course. Terry Thomas found himself in the mold of things from the Island Storm.
Well, I think Terry Thomas is almost a shoo-in for Canadian of the Year, the way he's scoring this season. He's been absolutely fantastic for the Island Storm, and his teammate, Jahi Carson, newcomer of the year, he's a guy that also could have been in the running for MVP, the way he played in the back half of that season. With the Island Storm, they're an interesting team, especially with their playoffs coming up against the Halifax Hurricanes. That'll be a very interesting series. But seeing that backcourt duo get rewarded was, I think, well-deserved.
And it was because of Terry Thomas's efficient play and Jahi Carton's assist that led to that upset against St. John, which most people did not see the Island Storm winning that series into that favor, but they had a tough Game 5. It took overtime to do it, but they won by 6, so hats off to the Island Storm and the St. John Riptide as well for a dramatic ending to the series.
Well, it was an absolutely great series, and I think it kind of throws the East into flux. A lot of people thought St. John might be the favorite coming out of the East. So with the Island Storm taking out St. John, I think that kind of turns the East into a bit more of a toss-up than I thought we maybe anticipated heading into playoffs.
And that series starts on Sunday. What do you think what's going to go down between these two teams? You got Mike Leslie, who used to be assistant coach for Joe Salermo. So in a way, it's like the student versus the teacher, but both clubs, as most people know, two top contending teams in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to just pure guard play for Island Storm. If Jahi Carson and Terry Thomas can get going, look out. For Halifax, it's almost similar to London. I think they've got better depth, and I think you want to run as many of those guys as you can and see if you can get the big guns for Island Storm just a little bit more tired.
And now it's a big matchup coming up right there on the East End, but here on the Central Division end, it's about to get started. You can insert all those cliches all you want, the mother of all battles, do or die. A lot of things at stake here, but take your pick. We have a big Game 1 for you coming up, and who knows, there might be some upsets. We know there's going to be some great plays along the way, but it's up for all of us to watch and for you to watch Knockstrom.tv to see how that unfolds. Windsor Express and London Lightning set to do battle, and we're moments away from the tip-off. We'll go upstairs with John and Chris on the call. I'll see you folks at the Knockstrom halftime. We're at Budweiser Gardens. Stay with us. More to come right here on Knockstrom.tv.
Okay, welcome sports fan. I'm John Howling, and I'm along with Chris Croucher in this playoff semifinal. Well, I guess it's central final, but semifinal in the league game between the London Lightning and the Windsor Express here at Budweiser Gardens on a Friday night. Great opening there, Chris, with you and Aaron. So, Nick Evans is back.
Yes, he sure is, and I'm sure the crowd will be very interested in watching his performance tonight. Of course, London, a former team of his, and a crowd that's been known to kind of give it to some former players when they revisit the Budweiser Gardens here. Another guy, DeAndre Thomas, a similar example.
I was going to mention him. Yeah, I thought there's another home favorite or former favorite. Yeah,
they have a weird welcoming tradition here of heckling, and so expect Nick Evans to get a healthy dose of that. But you know, part of the reason he gets under London's skin so much is he's an effective player. And he's a guy who's shown that he can defend well, especially at that big position, being the center for this Windsor Express team. He's a guy who's going to be interesting to watch, as he's probably going to get the matchup against Royce White. And those are two guys who obviously very skilled, but are a little prone, to getting in the occasional foul trouble. So watching those two, both physical players, match up one-on-one should be kind of interesting as the series goes on.
Yeah, because I thought Nick Evans was gone for the season, left on April 4 to go Middle East somewhere, I think Saudi Arabia. So I'm not sure how they picked him up coming back, but also another big addition for Windsor, Logan Stutz, late in the year as well, last year's MVP. This is not the same Windsor team that we've seen most of the year.
No, and I think what's interesting is going to be the fact that then now with Stutz and Patillo, you have two bigs who can do mid-range to, not so much Patillo, but mid-range to long-range damage, as well as have a guy like Evans who can chew up space on the inside simply by being that big body presence. And for guys like Royce White or Garrett Williamson, who do a lot of their action closer to the basket, whether it's cuts or whether it's post play, they're going to find a little less room to operate when Evans is in the game.
Well, looking at the London Lightning's success of the past 3 games in their playoffs, assists again, moving the ball has been the key for the London Lightning this year. Again, the league leader in assists in the playoffs, showing it again, sharing the ball, getting lots of open looks, and converting them as well. Mr. Anderson, as I like to call him, Ryan being the hot shooter for the London Lightning.
Now, he's one of those heart and soul guys for this team, alongside Garrett Williamson. Those are the guys who were returning and have played all of this year. And both guys bring that leadership, that level of play, night in, night out, that Coach Julius really wants to instill in this team. And I think both of them set the tone for this roster quite well. Williamson's been phenomenal in the playoffs, And of course, Ryan Anderson has a great playoff history himself. He had a 34-point game in last year's playoffs against the Windsor Express. So we'll see if he can recreate some of that magic here tonight.
So opening lineups being introduced. Close to tip-off time here. The opening lineup for the Windsor Express: Juan Patillo, Logan Stutz, Warren Ward, Darren Duncan, and Shaquille Keith. I love that name. And the London Lightning's being introduced as we speak, as you can see on the screen. That's Kyle Johnson, Junior Cadogan, Garrett Williamson, Royce White, and Ryan Anderson. Pretty well the same starting lineup for the last few weeks now that we've seen. Even though substitutions are frequent and liberal for the London Lightning, that's sort of their starting mindset, that mix of size and speed and shooting skill, of course.
That's definitely the lineup. They like to come in and set that tone early. The shooting from Johnson, the defense from Williamson, the post play of Royce White, they really enjoy just kind of having each aspect of their offense all in to start the game. And of course, Ryan Anderson also brings that defense and the threes. And Junior Cadogan, who's probably one of the most efficient floor generals in the NBL, you know, he doesn't go out and average 30 points, but he's able to just be an effective player and do everything that this team needs to get started and to get going on offense. And when he puts his head down and goes to the basket, he's one of the more unstoppable players. So it's a handful of a lineup that London's been able to use to effect against every team. And when you've got a record like London has, when you just come off a sweep like London did, it's up to other teams to answer to you. So London can put in their best guys. It's up to Windsor to find answers for those guys.
Yes, Junior Cadogan, starting point guard for Lightning. His assist to turnover ratio, one of the best in the league as well. And coming off the bench, another one of the best in the league, Doug Herring Jr. So quite the 1-2 punch at the point guard. Point guard situation in Windsor, they got quick. Warren Ward and Darren Duncan and Tony Bennett, they got speed as well. So just about ready for the opening tip-off.
Pardon me, go ahead, John. No, it's all you.
No, it's all good. So even though we know London dominated the series this year, I think a lot has changed in the past 4 or 5 weeks for the Windsor Spitfires. Not only player personnel, but everybody getting healthy as well. And their big guy is back, Nick Evans. So this is going to be, I think, a very physical battle tonight. See if tempers can stay in check, people can concentrate on basketball, and fight through all the physicalness that Windsor does bring to the game every night. Foul trouble will be the key, I think, for Royce White. I think early in the year he tended to get quite often to the 4th and 5th foul early, and had to really limit his playing style. But we've seen in the last number of weeks he's managed his foul situation much better, and he's really shone all around on the court because he's not in foul trouble.
Yeah, he's been able to play those full minutes. It's important here. They've got kind of pesky guys in Evans and DeAndre Thomas. It's important for him not to get baited into taking some fouls.
Okay, we're ready for the opening tip-off. And Royce White with a quick leap gets the opening tip, and Junior Cadogan with the ball. So let's see who our matchups are here. So have a look underneath. That is Patillo, and quick as a wink, Royce White with a little head fake, up and under with the left hand.
Yeah, he was given way too much space to operate down there, and he's able to finish on that one.
I think his defender was waiting for him to make a move, but as soon as he got the ball, he was already on his way to the basket. It's Darren Duncan with the ball up top. Didn't want to get into Patillo. He has that short-range jump shot, and there's double team, and he nearly throws the ball away. You see early, that's Junior Cadogan. Got his hand on that, attempt the shot by Duncan, who had to shoot because the shot clock was nearly out.
That's a great defensive stop there for the London Lightning. Anytime you can start the game by forcing a 24-second shot clock violation, you're doing a good thing right off the bat.
Well, it was interesting. He double-teamed Patillo right away as soon as he had the ball down inside by the key. Here's White again. Very patient, swings the ball so well. Ryan Anderson up top looking for the early screen from White. And now he takes it to the hole, throws it to the corner, deflected by Duncan. Quick reactions by Williamson not to grab that ball.
Yeah, that was a good-looking pass there. Ryan Anderson, not sure how he saw Garrett Williamson out of the corner of his eye there. Looked like it was going to be on the money, just barely got tipped there.
6 seconds left on the shot clock. Second possession here. Anderson, I'm sure he's aware. He gets off his shot. Is he hot? He is hot. Continuing from the last game.
And again, he's probably the most accurate shooter on the London Lightning. You can't give him even an inch or he'll finish the shot.
He's getting nothing but better as the year's going on. Lots of confidence. That's Logan Stutz. Huge pickup here partway through the end of the season for Windsor. He's a terrific post player. Here's a three-point shot, contested. Quick run out by Williamson with the little Euro step that he is so good at. And he finishes. Looks like Manu Ginobili there, didn't he?
It was a great finish. And I love that when he saw it was a smaller player there, he turned on the afterburners. Because even if you draw the contact, you're more likely to come out on the winning side there. Good job by Williamson.
Quick early 7-0 lead here. And again, nice post move that time by Shaquille Keith. I gotta make sure I don't say O'Neal. So. See what kind of pace Windsor plays tonight. That is definitely an offensive foul, and who else but Garrett Williamson playing a tremendous defense with his feet and gains the offensive charge.
And again, I'd like to see if they keep track of the charges in NBL Canada, because I have to think London's got to be leading in that department.
I would agree. Watching the games all this year, they certainly do their fair share. People sacrificing their bodies. Here's Williamson going hard to the hoop, and nobody wants to get in foul trouble early. Patillo just lets him go.
Williamson seems to have this extra gear whenever he's playing in playoffs, whatever year it's been, and it's showing up here. He had 28 and 29-point games in that first-round series, and he's been dynamite for London.
Logan Stutz able to get a three-pointer off. That's a difficult pass from Royce White for Williamson, even though Williamson was cutting hard to catch that in traffic.
Right idea, just didn't work out that time.
9-2, the early score. Again, that's Patillo with a little bounce pass from Ward that time. And Patillo's off on his first jump shot, but we know that's a nice shot for him. He likes that shot. And Williamson, unable to convert, was looking for some contact, never got it. Sort of rushed the shot. Here's the speed that we're talking about. Good interior position that time by Patillo and a great pass.
Just like that, London right back down the floor. This is the pace they want to play at.
Williamson trying to find a shot. Or Anderson, sorry. This is Williamson with the ball again. Little spin move to the hoop. Anderson will shoot from there. We know that. He misses badly that time. Sort of rushed his shot because of the shot clock. Anderson in a physical battle with Keith down low. We can see already the physical nature. Cadogan staying in front of a much quicker player. Great move on his feet. This is Keith from distance. He drains it. 9-7. A little bit of a comeback here for the Windsor Express.
Keith, not a guy who takes a ton of threes, but he makes them consistently enough when he does take them. He can't really leave him that open back there. Although the range was incredible. That was quite the deep three.
It's Johnson going to the hole. Looks like playing a lot of drives to the hoop so far for the London Lightning. Everybody taking their turn getting to the hoop. Now Windsor is known as a good defensive team, as we know statistically this season. That's Stutz with his little up and over Kevin McHale move. Throwback time for the Boston Celtics. You see a little bit of those players in some of these players here in their style. That's Stutz's style. He looks awkward and gangly, but he's just so effective underneath the basket. Down to 6 seconds on the shot clock for Johnson. See if White. Yes, Johnson's going to get the quick kick out. Unable to convert that time. Patillo unable to hold on to it. This is Williamson. He's going to take to the hole, and nobody wants to get in foul trouble again. Juan Patillo just letting them walk right to the backboard. You can see them really backing off. Nobody's willing to take a charge or a foul on the Windsor side so far in the interior.
And that's going to be 6 of the first 13 points for London, all provided by Garrett Williamson there.
Well, I think you hit it on the head that they shorten their lineup, and I think they're trying to avoid early fouls. Hence, London's taking advantage, pounding at his side, thinking that perhaps they'll back off, and they have so far.
I'm a little bit surprised that Windsor hasn't tried to give him a dose of their own medicine. With Patillo and Stutz, one of those guys is going to have a size mismatch that they could take advantage of, but we haven't seen them take advantage of that.
White with a terrific pair of hands steals it from Patillo and gets fouled on the fast break pass. Well, they're certainly not resting on their laurels of the London Lightning. We can see that. They really came on fire in their first playoff round, and here you can see the fire in their eyes as well. They are playing hard. Dugan, he'd like to take it to the hoop, just like you said, a little dump off pass, and White with the slammer.
Beautiful time there for Cadogan to make that pass. It was right as the big had committed to trying to stop Cadogan. He was still able to reach around and get that pass to Royce White there.
Jump shot. Doesn't get the friendly roll, does Darren Duncan. Williamson with the ball to Anderson. Great passing so far, and Cadogan finishes the drive, and the coach Kyle Julius is just overjoyed on the sideline. That's exactly what he wanted to see. That was 3 passes coming up the floor, and then Cadogan caught it at the angle with no defender able to get in front of him other than to foul him.
We're going to see a replay here.
Yes, look at that terrific replay. That ball, 3 passes before Cadogan got it on the fast break.
And that's something every coach has to be absolutely in love with, is seeing the ball get passed that much before a bucket like that. And Cadogan, when he puts his head down and goes to the rim, he's almost determined. You're either going to take a foul or he's going to get the 2 points anyway. There's no real other option.
Big mismatch with Cadogan and Patillo, but they can't take advantage of it. Again, a long shot by Keith that time.
Bit of a heat check there.
I think so. He only made 1.
Yeah, it was from so deep, I'd be trying it again.
Johnson with the pull-up jumper over Keith, unable to convert. Windsor protecting their boards, and that's going to be a foul off the ball, and Anderson trying to stop Keith from getting a position low. So now we've interesting substitution here with Keith coming off and Bennett coming in. That's a totally different position, different size. Anderson guards big and small, as we know. So he plays sort of that 3 spot, right? 2-3 spot quite often.
Well, essentially London throws a point guard, Royce White at center, and then 3 wing players.
Yeah, so that's so true, yes.
Yeah,
so they're either guarding bigs or smalls all the time, the wing guys.
Yeah, as we see one of those wings, Garrett Williamson here with that beautiful layup in the early goings of the game. I'm a little surprised with Windsor. I mentioned it a bit ago, but when you've got Stutz and you've got Patillo, and you know London likes to go with those 3 wings, that means one of those 2, Patillo or Stutz, is going to be open with a size advantage over one of those wing players, and we haven't seen Windsor go to that guy or really even look at that matchup as an opportunity. So I think Windsor might be coming out of this timeout maybe saying to start looking for those opportunities.
Well, so far London's preventing them from getting any interior passes or really letting them establish their post position down low. So far we've seen Stutz once, and I think that's it. Oh no, and
Patillo got one there.
Patillo got one. That's all they got in all these possessions. 18-9, the early score here with the London Lightning in the lead.
Again, there's like junior Cadogan drive.
I do look at where that started, that play down on the rebound. 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass. That was beautiful. Just coming up and across the court, catching the defense all going the wrong way. So in the early going, already 6 assists for the London Lightning. And I think that's something that if we see those numbers, like we saw, I guess, in the playoff series earlier, what was the one game they had, over 30 assists or something?
I think it was, they had a game where they were almost at 20 assists by halftime or something like that. They were over 10 and a quarter.
Yes, it was unbelievable.
So I think London's got that extra chemistry going in the playoffs right now. They're really looking for each other and helping each other out.
Ward up top with Williamson.
Anderson's doing as good a job as he can on Stutz there.
There's Logan Stutz coming inside. He gets some contact. No foul call. Joel Friesen on the floor right now. Anderson quick to shoot. Looks off target to me. And flying in is Joel Friesen from the 3-point line. And nobody coming to help out again. You see, Patillo didn't come and rotate, protect that paint again. He does not want to get in foul trouble. You can see it as obvious as anything, and London's taking it to the basket every time.
And I understand that he doesn't want to take that foul trouble.
You're not helping your teammates when you
Yeah.
get beat off the dribble or force an extra pass from the guy dribbling to the hoop.
Exactly. Although we did see something from Windsor. First possession, look where they went. Logan Stutz with a wing matched up on him. Ryan Anderson did an excellent job defending that play there.
Friesen misses the first one. Low arc, but he makes the second one. Duncan, the primary ball handler, but Bennett is out there as well. Terrific ball handler in his own right. This is Patil. Look where he is. He's not anywhere in the post there. He throws it over top. That's a long 3-point, fading back.
And that's
for
a
Warren
long
Ward.
That's a long 3 when you had Patillo trying to post up Junior Cadogan. It's another size mismatch that they aren't taking advantage of.
So far, 4 passes on that possession, but you're unable to convert, but they get the offensive board. And White with the little ball fake, he's going to take the jump shot. You don't usually see that from him. Jump shot, he usually takes it to the hoop. No substitutions yet for London. I think one's coming soon. And Stutz, like I said, does he not remind you of Kevin McHale and when he's in the post?
Yes.
Maybe a little quicker than McHale, but just that length. And like, how do you stop him from getting the ball off the backboard? You just can't do it.
And that time it was Garrett Williamson defending him. So again, they're looking at that big versus wing kind of matchup there. Logan Stutz able to take advantage on that one.
You're right. The last 2 possessions have gone into Logan Stutz. They're looking for him.
Also a great dime there for Maurice Jones, pardon me. The NBL Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year, yeah. Here's Williamson going hard to the hoop and up and over top of Logan Stutz. You can see Stutz backing off again. The 2 bigs from Windsor are backing off, and London is taking advantage. Mismatch here with White on the quick, and you know Stutz, that's his inside-outside game. He didn't make that shot, but he's more than capable of doing it. Stutz again, interior position underneath. Little ball fake, gets out of the way, throws it in the corner, and that is another great ball fake by Maurice Jones. That looks awkward to me, that shot. A little off balance was Darren Duncan. White leading the break. And a little ball faking behind his back, drop off to his partner in crime, Garrett Williamson, and another foul.
And that's the second time we've seen Windsor guard specifically forced to just grab the player because there's no one really in the way to stop that. That time it was Tony Bennett who's going to take the foul there.
Anderson coming off, first substitution for London Lightning, and that's number 4, Marcus Capers coming on. And Doug Herring Jr. as well for Junior Cadogan. Oh, I forgot, Joel Friesen had subbed in, that's right. So, London does have a deep bench. We know that. They go 10 deep almost every game, quite often 11 and 12. And averaging over 8 players in double figures consistently all year. And I would say double figures in minutes as well, not just points. Here's the quickest man on the court with the ball right now, number 11, Maurice Jones, I would hazard a guess, wouldn't you? That's Patillo with his patented jump shot, but he's unable to convert. This is Royce White in traffic. Little stutter step again, and he draws the foul. He is so deceptive. You don't know what he's going to do. He's in such control of his dribble, and he never seems to be rushed.
And he almost, it looks like it's in slow motion just because you can kind of see everything coming together. Well, it's literally in slow motion here.
Well, yes.
When you're watching it, it almost seems like it's in slow motion. And I think one of the more important things about that bucket, though, he went straight to Logan Stutz. Stutz picking up his 2nd foul on that play. And that's an early time to be getting 2 fouls.
It's both his foul shots. 24-12, double the score for London Lightning. Joel Friesen, guarding the Rookie of the Year for the NBL. Maurice Jones up top, another quick guard, Darren Duncan. They got some speed on the lineup up top. With Tony Bennett as well, and 2 bigs. Patillo being guarded by Herring right now, but they didn't look inside for him. And a nice shot from the outside from Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett, a guy London fans are familiar with. He had an excellent season here. The 1 year he did play for London, but he's really found a spot in Windsor. He's always a key part to Windsor teams that traditionally have made deep runs while he was there.
Good defense, stay at home that time with Juan Patillo. A few ball fakes by White. Didn't go for it. Doug Herring nearly with the steal. He gambles, leaves a wide open 3. Jones unable to convert though.
Duncan's opening up a lot of opportunities for his teammates here though. They just got to start converting.
Friesen doing the right thing, driving to the hoop. Just couldn't finish at the end. Again, they are getting to the hoop at will, our London Lightning. It's just so obviously, painfully obvious at the moment.
Well, Stutz at this point with 2 fouls has no choice but to kind of back off.
Ooh. Looks like he caught his balance there. Friesen sort of undercut him, but not intentionally. So quick to the hole was Maurice Jones. Looks like he landed on his elbow. Hopefully he's okay. He's going to the foul line. Good backdoor cut that time by the Windsor. And now our first look, the returning Nick Evans, big number, 4.
You know, he's a guy who can really impact a game, not necessarily through scoring, but through defense and hustle. And he's a guy who London will see what they have in store for him, because while they dealt with Evans and Patillo, they hadn't had to deal with Evans and Stutz as a combo. And with Stutz' ability to stretch the floor a little bit more, gives Stutz a little extra dimension when you have Evans in that game, and like really taking up the space inside.
Look who they brought on, Marvin Phillips, tried to guard Stutz. I'm sure that's going to be the matchup. So really, Stutz is going to have his way size-wise. He's got Marcus Capers on him currently.
Yeah, I think they got a Phillips and Evans matchup here.
Yes.
And then Capers has actually played the 4 before when he was in Mississauga, back when Kyle Julius was the coach of the Mississauga Power. Marcus Capers actually was the starting power forward for that team because he's got such long arms that it kind of gives him that ability to at least battle at that position.
Always get him up a big size advantage with Logan Stutz. We'll see how that works on the defensive end. Joel Friesen inbounding the ball to Kyle Johnson. 10 seconds left in the shot clock. This Doug Herring Jr., his first touch, really. A little ball fake, throws it inside to Phillips. Phillips able to convert.
That time Stutz had no choice but to just kind of try to be as much in the way as he could without fouling there.
That's a big screen by Evans. He takes up a lot of room. Friesen trips over his own feet that time. And Warren Ward gets a freebie 3, and he makes him pay. Big size mismatch here with Herring, right, that we see.
Completely.
Yeah. Phillips with the ball fake as well. Evans jumps out on it. Johnson, looks like he got held. Turned in the corner by Tony Bennett. Foul troubles mounting here for Windsor. We are only in the first quarter, already in the bonus here. Minute 43 to go. Windsor's closed the gap. They were down by 12. They're down by 6 with Kyle Johnson from London at the foul line.
And that's going to be 2 on Bennett there. So you've got Bennett, Keith, and Logan Stutz each at 2 fouls. Pardon me, Stutz is only at 1. I thought he was at 2. That's still 17 fouls already over the limit, as you can see here. So the Express maybe trying to avoid some foul trouble, but not doing so.
Well, Ellenson into the game, number 30. He's the sharpshooter. Down in the corner as well. There's Jones with the ball up top. Evans, nobody on Evans. He waits for some contact and just puts it easy off the backboard. Rotation did not work on defense that time. Lots of banging going on between Evans and Phillips. You can see this Capers with the ball up top. He can beat Stutz off the dribble.
Oh.
That's a nice backdoor cut. And Kyle Johnson quick to the hoop.
Oh, that pass from Marcus Capers just thread the needle between 2 Windsor defenders there. Beautiful.
Evans had no chance to recover, even though he tried to. In the corner goes is Ellenson. He'll take it to the hole. One-handed and sort of floats it up. Took the contact, looking for a foul, but none called. Friesen with the ball up top. He's looking for early shot. Phillips, he can make that shot. Good box out that time. Kyle Johnson hits the floor. That looked like a travel to me on Ellison that time. Never established his pivot foot there. He took an extra step. Didn't gain an advantage, so I guess they didn't call it. So here's Stutz with the mismatch that we were talking about. That's Herring. Herring did a good job bodying him up, even though he's much smaller. Made him do an off-balance shot. Down to the last 15 seconds in the shot clock, 20 seconds in the quarter. I think they're going to run it down as far as they can, up by 5. Windsor with a bit of a comeback at the end here to close the gap. See what Herring can do. He looked for inside, but that was well read by Maurice Jones. We got 5 seconds left in the shot clock. What's Ellison going to do? A left-handed shot, does not convert. Phillips hangs on to it wisely. So lots of flurry and action back and forth there. Windsor down by 12. About 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, and they made a bit of a mini run to close it to 5.
Yeah, it was an excellent job closing that gap too, and with not spectacular shooting numbers. Only 39% from the field for the Windsor Express in that quarter. which is an all right number. Pardon me, that's 37%, but London shot 50% in that quarter. Windsor really looking at the 3-ball too. 12 3-point attempts, only 3 made, but 12 3-point attempts in that first quarter.
Well, there were a lot of 3-pointers taken, I think, late in the shot clock as well. So London was doing a good job denying the interior passing to Patillo early on in the quarter. 10 assists for London in the first quarter already.
You know, Windsor's got 6, but a lot of those came in maybe the last 4 minutes of that quarter.
Yeah, that contributed to the run at the end there to close the gap.
A big part of that run. Those guys helping each other out, moving the ball. And if you're Windsor, that's what you got to be looking to do. Coming into the second quarter there. I thought it worked a little better when they went with a little bit of a smaller group of players on the floor too, when they went with the Jones-Duncan combo in the backcourt. I thought that worked out really well for them in the first.
Okay, so quarter time adjustment for both coaches. They know what's happening in the first quarter. What kind of adjustments will each team make?
Should mention one of the ways Windsor was beating KW in that first round was on the boards, getting out rebounded 16-9 against London here tonight.
Oh yes, I see that. How many 3-pointers did London attempt? Only 6, right? Yeah. Yeah, so they really were looking to challenge Windsor inside, and they took full advantage of it, pounding it either on the dribble or on the pass. Now, Nick Evans may have a lot to say about that coming up in this quarter. So this is the first game of the second round of the playoffs. This is what we would call the Central Division Finals. I keep thinking West because we've got East and West, but really can't say West. We're in Central Canada, so Central Division Finals. Or if you want to call it the league semifinals, whatever you like to call it. It's a best of 7, 2 games here in London and 2 back in Windsor. London back here Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. And then we'll see after game 4 where we go from there. Jones getting lots of playing time. Warren Ward back out. Now he's got keepers on him. Ellison up top. Really having a tough time getting some penetration here. Nice hesitation move that time and held the defender off with his left right hand and put it up with his left was Warren Ward. Down to 3-point game. They're looking for Phillips underneath. This is a big matchup here physically. Phillips a little bit quicker. He's got the strength and off the backboard and rolls out. But who's in there but Doug Herring Jr. taking advantage of his size. Capers. Doesn't shoot the ball as often from the outside, but he can make it. Doesn't make it that time. Herring doing terrific defense on keeping Jones on the outside. Now he's got the mismatch with Patillo though. This is Evans also with a mismatch. It's like a holding foul on Capers. Definitely a size mismatch right now, and especially when they switch those screens. It's really apparent.
No kidding.
On the mismatches. The only big really out there is Phillips, Marvin Phillips.
And, you know, I think they're intentionally trying to get Phillips defending Evans. Of course, Phillips has experience having defended Evans when Evans was a member of the Island Storm. So he's a guy that Phillips is familiar with. So I kind of like that matchup for London. However, they haven't been able to. Right now, it looks like it's Doug Herring Jr. who's on Evans right now. That's a mismatch.
Long 3-point attempt again by Windsor. Late in the shot. Anderson's back on the floor. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. This time he pulls up for a jumper. Didn't get quite enough arc on that. Evans with a big rebound.
Good defense there from Juan Patillo on the much quicker Anderson.
That's who Anderson's guarding is Patillo. That's a size mismatch. And a little look-off pass there by Jones, and he gets all the way to the hoop. And Herring nobody's guarding him. He just takes it to the hole quick as a flash. Nobody paying attention to him. Beat his defender.
I think Windsor got caught admiring their last bucket there. Easy for Doug Herring Jr. just make his way to the rim.
Again, the switch. Evans, he's got Herring on him. He's got a point guard on him. This is Evans. He does a little floater over the top. Didn't quite fly for him. This is giving it to Herring Jr. again. He's trying to beat the much quicker and smaller Maurice Jones, who reaches in and gets the foul. Nearly stole the ball, though.
I love the way Doug Herring Jr. is attacking right now. We talked about how Windsor doesn't want to have to play that fast pace if they can avoid it. Herring Jr. is just imposing his will in terms of forcing Windsor to play at that much quicker speed.
And again, that determination, the game plan, get to the basket, get to the rim as often as you can. Put the pressure on the defense. Set play for Johnson in the corner, but Ellenson did a good job fighting through Royce White's screen. This is White. Up and under, and a little reverse by Kyle Johnson. A terrific pass by Royce White.
Beautiful pass and beautiful finish there from Kyle Johnson. Hotly contested, but able to finish.
Nice pick and roll with Evans. Is he going to call that a charge?
Yes, he is.
I would have to have a look at that one. Anderson looked like he was very close to being in that restricted area, and I don't know if he got there on time.
He was out. I think he was out there.
You think he was out,
yeah.
Do you? We'll have a look when we get a chance at the replay. Evans, I thought, maybe unfairly penalized that time. That's his second one, I'm thinking. Herring Jr. up top. Again, he's got the size mismatch. He can shoot the ball anywhere he wants. Unable to convert to three that time. Patillo with the rebound. Haven't heard too much from Patillo yet offensively.
No, he's only got the 2 points that he got in the opening minutes of the first quarter there.
Again, a quick jump shot with White tipping that ball and throwing it long. And there's no way number 12, Darren Duncan's going to stop that dunk from Royce White. Not only did he play defense on a smaller man at the three-point line, tip the shot, runs out, gets the fast break, and make the dunk.
Well, look at the hands while he was running that route there. What a great receiver catch from Royce White.
Absolutely.
We're going to see the replay here. I don't get to see the catch. Coach Bill Jones is hot right now. He's had a lot of words here for the referees. He might want to watch it before he gets himself into some trouble here.
Well, I think they're still hot in the collar because there was an obvious foul here when Windsor was dribbling ball up top. Somebody reached right over top the smaller defender and no call. And that was right in front of Bill Jones.
You know, I think that was a good timeout to take, though, because London's the type of team you don't want to give them an inch. So as soon as London started to get that momentum going, that's when if you're Bill Jones, you want to stop that right away. You don't want to wait and see. You want to make sure that ends as quick as possible. Get that momentum out of there immediately.
A lot of talking in the coaches' huddle there. They're just going into the players' huddle now, or Windsor. So they are scratching their heads. It's a 35-28 score. It's not that far. But you get the feeling that London's really ready to break it away at any time. So far, Windsor's hanging on.
And that's why it's important that Bill Jones called that timeout, because, again, as you mentioned, London looks like they're about to take off. And London, when they take off, it's almost impossible to catch up. So I think that was a good timeout to slow things down. Oh, we got a tire going into the back part of Budweiser Gardens there.
Lots of entertainment in the timeouts between the quarters. Good job here by the staff to keep the fans, especially the kids, entertained. Looks like it's filling up a bit more here on a beautiful Friday evening. Sun's shining. Hard to come inside, I think. First really nice day in what we seem a rainy week. So we got Kyle Johnson, Royce White, Doug Herring Jr. still out there. Garrett Williamson back on the floor, and Ryan Anderson. Got Warren Ward out with Juan Patillo, Wally Ellenson. I always have to make sure I don't say Zerbiak. And Darren Duncan. And who else we got? We got Shaquille Keith back on the floor. So you got sort of a change in player here for Windsor, going with a lot bigger lineup. This is Patillo doing a little bit of dribbling himself. White just pinned him underneath the backboard. Had nowhere to go. I don't think the shot clock got reset. So Windsor not aware of it. Well, the shot clock did not get reset. I do not know if that ball hit the rim. I thought Royce White had blocked it.
Refs are going to talk about it here.
So he got pinned right underneath the basket to Patillo, and he tried to put an awkward shot back over his head, and I don't think the ball ever did hit the rim. So the shot clock did not get reset, and that is London's ball. That was the first real attempt by Patillo to do any kind of zone move on dribble penetration inside the paint. And he's known for that, being a physical presence inside. Terrific rebounder. 18, 19 points a game and 10 rebounds a game. But we have not heard much from him so far. Stutz has been on the bench for a while as well. That's Johnson. We know he can hit the threes. Not able to hit that time. So Windsor really, I think, slowing the pace down to their liking right now. Sort of changed a little bit here. They're down by 7. Don with a bigger lineup as well. See if it can make him pay. This is White outside. Anderson just bodying up Patillo, not allowing him to get interior position. This is Keith again with, he made one. I think he fell in love with it, and he's missed his last 2 or 3.
Yeah, he's not a pure 3-ball shooter. That's a beautiful pass there. Doug Herring Jr. to Royce White. Great finish.
Well, we call that lack of transition defense. That's what I would call that by Windsor. They're getting exposed quite often when London pushes the ball. They're not back, picking up their man or looking to see who is the open man on transition. And Patillo that time does get the ball in a good position, and he finishes. And I think that's where they need to go.
Exactly. He's the guy they got to get going at this point. That's only 4 points from their leading scorer tonight.
Doug Herring Jr. in the corner, and that's Anderson. He's got a free look, and he buries it. Boy, when he gets his shoulder square to the basket, he is deadly. There's a lot of switches here with Patillo. And now it's Doug Herring Jr. on him, much smaller player. In the corner goes to Ellenson. He likes that shot. He doesn't make it that time. And working hard inside was Keith, but he went off of him. He could not control the offensive board. Ellenson's a good shooter from the corner. That was a terrific pass from up top by Patillo. And Junior Cadogan back on. Doug Herring Jr. played a long stretch there. Great 1-2 punch at the point guard.
I was going to say, those guys have been interchangeable this year. Both guys able to run the offense quite efficiently.
Anderson with a smaller Bennett on him. Williamson with Patillo on him. He's got the foot speed. Is he going to take Patillo to the basket? No, quick shot. Cadogan, a rare 3 for Cadogan. Doesn't take it off him, though. A shot clock was nearly running out, so he was well aware of that. Bennett and Cadogan. Now Royce White with big switch, and Patillo and Cadogan. Look at Cadogan just battling for interior position, and the refs are letting it go. Again, up top, here it goes. And White, terrific pass. Stayed with a much smaller defender and did not get the foul. Anderson with a few tricks up the sleeve there as well. He knows it's going in there. That was a nice little pass, but too much traffic around for him to handle on. That was Royce White. Would have been a nice finish.
I think Patillo got a hand on that. Royce ended up being the last one to touch it, but I do think Patillo altered that pass.
Okay, Stutz back on the floor. He had a nice long rest. Down by 10. The 2 bigs are in again for the Windsor Express. Yeah, mistake Stutz. He's tall, number 3 with the glasses. And a terrific 3-point. Just rose up and took that with confidence. That was Darren Duncan. If he gets going, that's going to be trouble. Going to call a travel or a hold. Yeah, they're calling it a hold, because if it wasn't a hold, it was a travel. It was one or the other. But again, putting pressure on the defense in the interior, and very little help defense coming from Windsor.
You know, that's actually going to be a foul on, I believe that's going to be on Shaq Keith. That'll be his 3rd. So Shaq Keith might not be on the floor for too much longer.
Not sure what the Windsor players are doing.
It was on Darren Duncan there.
2 Windsor players down here on the other side of the court. You must have thought it went the other way, but it did not. Shot clock at 18. Anderson, no good look for him that time. Still dribbling up top, still looking for having a look. That time rolls the ball into White. White unable, he's trying to draw a foul, and it says it was knocked out by Windsor, but not sure if that's true. But White, again, getting the ball in an awkward position there from his teammate. Doing his best to try to draw a foul, but shot clock down to 7. See if Williamson's aware. Anderson's certainly aware. Did not have his shoulder square that time. Did you see that?
No, I think he was looking at the shot clock, though, and just kind of trying to chuck it up there.
Again, terrific help defense by Royce White. That interior pass keeps it alive. Good no call on that time. Stutz giving the body on Williamson, but I think that's a good no call. The offensive guy initiated that contact. Williamson going again hard to the hoop, pounding it inside. 42-33, up by 9. Patillo fighting a little harder now. Anderson coming up top trying to knock that over. Patillo working harder now to get interior position. He throws it out to Stutz, who can make that one. Unable to convert, but you don't want to leave him open too much. Able to convert that time, and right up, and not able to convert. It was a rusted shot a little bit. It was Kyle Johnson. It's a bit of a hurry-up offense here. Bennett with no hesitation. Guess they're taking the first open look they can get.
Bennett's a guy you don't want to get hot either. He's able to heat up real quick and make a bunch of tough baskets and tough shots.
That's a blocking foul. I think Stutz was falling down already before Cadogan even got in there trying to draw the foul. But a couple of timely baskets by Windsor keep the score close here. It's only 6 points again.
London keeps looking like they're ready to sort of take off, and Windsor just keeps hanging around. And we saw, I don't believe it was their last game against each other, but the game before that where London allowed Windsor to hang around, and then all of a sudden around the end of the game things got a little dicey, a little maybe tighter than London would have liked.
Got Stutz's second foul, is it? Is that Logan Stutz?
That is his second foul, pardon me.
Okay, yep, I thought so. Darren Duncan with a couple of big baskets as well. It's Keith on a much smaller player, and he just forces his way against Johnson. Johnson, the much smaller, lighter player that time. Keith just bowling his way to the basket and draws the foul.
You know, Keith was a bit of a late pickup for Windsor as well, among quite a few late pickups by the Windsor Express, but they got Keith in a trade from the Cape Breton Highlanders. And of course, he's a familiar face. He played for the Express last year, but he's come in here and he's basically taken the exact same role he had last season as kind of that prototypical 3-4 kind of mix. He's able to play both positions for the Express depending on the lineup.
Turnover by Herring, and this is Stutz. He gets fouled by Royce White, who does not concede the basket. I think that's White's first foul, I do believe.
Yes, it is.
What a careless turnover by Doug Herring Jr. And a quick run out by the Windsor Express, taking it right to the hoop. When you foul somebody, you want to make sure they don't make the basket, so I would say that was a good foul.
And that's something that a lot of teams have had trouble doing against London, is they'll go for the foul, and London, a lot of players on London are really good at adjusting for the contact. That's why I think it was intentional when we saw earlier in the game the Windsor players would just kind of grab the arm of a London player, make sure that there was no doubt whether it would go in or not.
Williamson looked like he's trying to take it one-on-one, and this is Cadogan going one-on-one, throws it back out. Johnson's got his feet set, and he drains it. That's hit pretty well. We know by watching him all season, that's pretty well his favorite spot, straight on to the basket, which is really a tough shot, to be honest with you.
It's a very tough shot, but that's how he got a 51-point game. He's able to drill that three.
And another shot from Bennett. He's going to need to get a heat check, I think.
You can't let him heat up. Tony Bennett's a guy who's got tons of experience in the playoffs, and you can't let him get that kind of momentum going. That was a great bucket there from Royce White.
He just beat Patillo to the spot. I tell you, Windsor at this point, they need to work harder in their interior defense. They're just letting London go wherever they want. Just Keith pulling his way to the hoop again against a smaller player. Unable to convert that time, but that was a good move by him. This is Williamson. He's just taking it to the hoop as well. Takes the contact, no foul called. And I see Bill Jones, he's urging his team to get more physical. Really, Windsor being a reputation of a physical, beat-em-up, bruise-you kind of team, slow down the game, they have not shown tonight the physical side of their play.
You know, I think they came into this game wanting to avoid the fouls early, but now you've gotten to this point of the game, no one's really in foul trouble. You can afford to be a bit more physical, but the players just haven't been doing that yet. So I think going into this timeout, that's one of the things he's going to tell them, is don't be playing in fear of fouls at this point in the game. No one on the Express is more than two. And a lot of those two-foul players are on their outside guys, not the inside. For example, Juan Patillo's got 0 fouls right now. He's a guy that can play a little more recklessly and not be worried about his foul situation as much.
Well, so far we have noticed consistently very little help defense in the interior
Agreed.
of Windsor, right? If somebody's beating off the dribble, they're either very slow to rotate over to cut off, or they're not there at all.
And we can even go back to one of the very first buckets where Royce White was able to just spin around Stutz, and there was no other player that came over to help. They all just kind of left their space there. So that's something to keep an eye on as this game goes on. If whether or not Windsor's going to be able to get someone to come in, help on defense. I thought Nick Evans would be that guy, but we haven't seen a ton of him since he appeared early in the second.
Well, just looking at some of the stats there, it's sort of a little unusual for London's bench scoring to be so low. So far, their starters have garnered most of the points.
Yeah, London's already got 3 guys in double digits. All 3 were starting.
Typically, you see a little more balance with the London Lightning bench. This is Bennett again. That's a heat check.
Absolutely a heat check.
Did not make it that time, but he got his shot off. Tony Bennett we're talking about. Again, the slow motion move of Royce White, and he does not draw the foul. He's looking for it. That's what he was looking for. It looked awkward, but Duncan up top. Yeah, they're leaving the boys alone, are London. Windsor's getting some open looks at the threes. They've made him pay a couple times. Again, Kadugan going hard and high off the backboard. When he sees a lane, he is going 100%. I don't think anybody wants to get in his way.
Oh, he shifts into high gear and gets down the lane there. It's almost impossible to stop him there.
Well, it's back to a 10-point lead again for London Lightning. A little over under a minute and a half to go in this second quarter. Bennett shooting again, a little dribble, step back dribble, shot over a much taller defender, Garrett Williamson, and he makes it. I think he is single-handedly keeping them in the game within that 10-point range.
Well, that makes him 4 for 5 from three-point land in this game. He's feeling it.
And Williamson just with a terrific ball fake. Stutz had to come out to guard the 3, and just drives, takes the contact, and puts it off the backboard. Just great fundamental basketball by Garrett Williamson. Keith up top, and they give him the ball to Bennett again. This time Royce White on him. What's he going to do? He is going to pull up for a 3, and you can see the flick of the wrist that nearly went in as well.
He's really got that confidence going when he takes those shots. And again, Tony Bennett, a very dangerous player.
Rare jump shot by Williamson, but he can make that one as well. They're up by 11. Almost at the last possession of this quarter. 20 seconds on the shot clock, about 2-second differential here. London can get the ball back, but it looks like Windsor's running it down to the last possible seconds. They're down by 11. See if they can put a big basket here at the end of the quarter to keep it around the 10-point mark. Into the corner goes, inside to Patillo. He's got White on him. And this is Keith again, and he does bury it on the buzzer for the shot clock. That's his second 3. He made his first one and shot 3 or 4 more after that. Did not look good, but that one right on the buzzer. 57-46, a timeout called here with the London Lightning with about 3.7 seconds left or so on the shot clock. Looking at some summaries here. Again, London Lightning doing a great job passing the ball. They have 20 assists already. They average 26 per game in the season. They have 20 at the half already, continuing their trend from their first round where they're nearly in the high 20s, low 30s every game. Defensively, 57-49. Windsor struggling on the defensive side to keep London in check. They've shot 25 threes, have the Windsor Express, made 8 of them. Thanks to Tony Bennett, making 3 of them. Only 3 threes for the London Lightning so far. So let's see what they come with this timeout. They want to get one final possession, see if they can't put the ball in the net. 57-49, excuse me, is the score. That 3 was added on late to the score clock. So an 8-point differential here with 1 possession left for the London Lightning. They're going to be taken out underneath their own basket. They got the full length of the court to go to get the shot off. See where Windsor ends up playing defense, and they do what a lot of teams do. They put their biggest guy on the out-of-bounds passing guy. How hard is it to throw it over top of Nick Evans? He's close to 7 foot. Kyle Johnson's maybe 6'2", 6'3". He's got to throw the ball in somehow. He wants to throw it in long, but it's not going to happen. It's going to go to Doug Herring Jr. He got fouled, and they had a foul to give. Good play by the Windsor Express. I'm not sure they really wanted Nick Evans to get the foul, but number 44. But the time is down to 1.1 seconds, and another timeout called. You either use them or you lose them, so Kyle Julius calls it, even though it's only 1.1 seconds. But they have the ball at the half, so it's a much shorter throw-in. So continuing on some of our stats, let's have a look here. Rebounds, London significantly out-rebounding Windsor at this time, 28 to 6 to 18. 20 assists, 11 assists for London Lightning. Both teams only have 4 turnovers, surprisingly. I thought there would be a few more in there. Scoring leader is Williamson with 17 so far, and Bennett, of course, with his threes. He's got 12 points. And Batillo, even though he's been quiet, he's got 8 rebounds. White's got 8 as well. Junior Cadogan with 7 assists, and Aaron Duncan with 7 as well. And again, bench scoring for Windsor quite a bit, 20 points. Some significant scoring from Tony Bennett contributing to that. Only 5 bench points from the London Lightning, a team that boasts 8 players in double figures for the whole season, only getting 5 points off the bench so far. That's going to have to change, I think, in the second half for the London Lightning to continue on this streak. So again, London ball at the side. This time Royce White, one of the biggest players in London, throwing it in over top of that big guy, Nick Evans. Let's see where they go. Got Cadogan. Maurice Bolden, our first look at him. Bet they throw it at the basket to Maurice Bolden. I wonder if that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Good call, John Van Houweling, and I saw that one coming a mile away, and so did Windsor. Why do you put Maurice Bolden in, one of the tallest guys in London? You want to do an alley-oop to him at the basket with 1.1 seconds left. But since nobody touched it, Windsor gets the ball back at half. They're not calling a timeout. They're going to get the ball, though, last possession. See if they can get a shot off. Ellison throwing the ball in. His last 3 seconds taking quite a while here. See who gets the ball. It's going to be in for off-balance shot. Nearly went in off the backboard, off the rim was Darren Duncan. That was the best he could do. So 57-49, London Lightning over the Windsor Express. We're going to turn it over after the break to Aaron and Chris for some halftime stats, and then I'll see you back at the beginning of the second half.
Give us a call at 519-433-8952 or look us up on the web at batterbus.com. With Batterbus, some say it starts here.
We got an 8-point ball game here at Budweiser Gardens at the intermission, and Chris Croucher, give the Express the benefit of the doubt. They're doing a real astute job of closing out, getting those rebounds, but on the Lightning sides, Garrett Williamson's been striking it rich like you predicted at the top of the show. And number 2, Doug Herring Jr. being very efficient off the ball. In other ways, they're getting those shots going, as that has been their game since day one.
Yeah, and I think for London, it's been about the kind of start that they were looking for. Maybe that second quarter wasn't their best, but that first quarter definitely was what they liked. Garrett Williamson has been phenomenal, and not just Doug Herring Jr., but Junior Cadogan. Both point guards doing a great job running the offense, creating opportunities for their teammates and getting open. Just by running around. Even if you don't get the ball, you create a bit of mayhem that makes it hard for your team to be defended.
And that's one of the reasons why they're shooting over 50% from the field. It's the timing and making sure the play breathes. But on the other hand, for the Windsor Express, no question about it, Nick Evans' presence was severely missed. That caused Juan Patillo and at sometimes Shaq Keith and DeAndre Thomas try to fill in the void in the front court and especially in the post, but they're doing a good job inside.
Yeah, I thought what Nick Evans did best there was just be a space eater. You know, you don't need him to do anything too fancy. He's a big body who's able to really just clog the lane. It makes it. We saw when Evans was in the game, that was when Williamson wasn't scoring as much. That's because Williamson's a guy who likes to cut to the rim. And when you put a guy like Evans in the game, Evans is that body that's in the way.
Yeah.
He's that guy that gets in the way and clogs that lane so a guy like Williamson can't cut. So I'd say in the second half, we're going to see more minutes out of Evans. I also think Windsor, on the whole, on the inside, they were a little bit worried about maybe getting into some foul trouble. I think in the second half, those kind of, they're going to kind of let them loose, take them off the leash a bit, say, go ahead, you can be a little bit more physical. Because they made it through that first half in pretty good foul situations for all their key contributors.
And nothing has been scrappy so far. And when you mentioned Nick Evans shutting down Garrett Williamson, you'd think he would shut down Royce White, considering how the projected matchups look like. But if Nick Evans could keep on doing that, especially when the mid-range is his game, they could go places.
Well, it's not so much him locking down Garrett Williamson. They don't really play one-on-one. But merely having his presence there just creates an obstruction. It's something in the way. And I think Nick Evans, we've already seen he's a skill player and a good defender, but simply just being his size has had an impact on the London Lightning. For Royce White, I think he's had a pretty good half. Again, it's a tough matchup because every time he's had the ball, there's been someone on the Windsor Express breathing down his neck. But he still had an excellent first half.
And 9 times out of 10, when they were running on the fast break, he's the one that comes up with a strong finish. Once again, that's been his game. But now it's time for the Windsor Express to answer. We only got one game right here, so we talk about keys for the second half. The Windsor Express, what can they do on the transition game to make sure they limit Williamson and especially Royce White, who could finish strong at both ends?
Well, they're just going to hustle on defense. I thought they actually did well when they went big with Nick Evans on the inside, but they went small everywhere else. They had Maurice Jones and Darren Duncan as the backcourt pairing, and I think they did a really good job there because that gave them the speed that they needed to keep up with London in transition. So when London wanted to speed up the pace, Windsor had guys who were able to answer. So I think more of that lineup in general, I think will be a big part for Windsor if they want to come back.
For Windsor, you've seen Tony Bennett and Shaq Keith getting plenty of shots from beyond the arc, and you rarely see Shaq Keith go from beyond the arc, but he's been getting those good looks. As the London Lightning, how do you stop that and trap them?
Well, I think their perimeter defense has been okay in terms of stopping those threes. Shaq Keith had some heavily contested ones as the game carried on, and I thought the ones from Tony Bennett were just like out of his mind shots. Like, I mean, they worked, but they were challenged, and he did a great job making them. Even when they were contested, he was feeling it. I think London's just got to keep doing the same and hope that Tony Bennett doesn't stay hot.
How vocal are these two teams, considering that this is only game 1 of the best-of-7 Central Finals?
Well, it's already heated. You can sense the tension on the court. And, I mean, we have almost 6 more games of this. This is going to be an intense series. It always is when these two play each other. You've got many characters who everyone around NBL Canada is familiar with. There's London versus Windsor ties. You've got former Lightning players on the Express. You've got a former Express player on the Lightning. It's always a heated rivalry between these two, and we're seeing that again tonight.
And you could cut the tension with the knife. That's how intense it's going to be. But the intensity does not stop there. We got another half of game to play here. 8-point lead for the London Lightning. We'll see how this unfolds in the second half. But for now, we step aside. Enjoy the second half. Enjoy the intermission. We'll see you folks at the Knoxstrom postgame. But for now, this important message.
Okay, welcome back, sports fans, to the Budweiser Gardens here on a Friday night. I'm Jonathan Howlingen, along with Chris Croucher, calling this playoff game between the Windsor Express and the London Lightning, 57-49 at the half. So, some of your impressions there of the first half. Chris, what are you thinking?
Well, I think London actually did a solid job taking on various runs from the Windsor Express. We didn't really see them take off the way I think we kind of believed they were going to. But they got strong performances out of that starting lineup, and I think we're going to see a lot of those guys in this half. Garrett Williamson, 17 points in that first half, including 8 of 8 shooting. So expect to see a healthy dose of Garrett Williamson in the second half as well. For Windsor, a couple of confusing decisions, I think, in the early going, but it definitely was improved as the game continued on. I think most notably Tony Bennett really drained a couple of key threes there and helped the Windsor Express stay with the London Lightning here. And they're within reach. You talk about the elastic band. It's only slightly being pulled on right now. It's nothing terrible.
Yeah, I think 12 was the biggest lead that London had in that first half, and Windsor pulled it back within 6 fairly quickly. So it's been hovering between 8 and 10. No foul call, not a late call that time. Warren Ward. Ryan Anderson dribbling right around to the basket. A foul in the first 12 seconds of this half. Yeah, one thing we were commenting on quite a bit in the first half was the lack of help defense and physical play by the Windsor Express in that first half. See, that changes here in the second half. Cadogan with his head down, loses the ball on his way up. It looked like it was stripped by Darren Duncan. Down to 6 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see what London sets up here. Cadogan with the inbounds. Looks like Williamson up top. He knows the time. He knows he's going hard to the hoop. That time he's called a charge. Stutz stays in front of him, stayed out of the restricted area. That's a big call early on. That could have been Stutz's third foul. And instead, Garrett Williamson gets it.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a swing foul almost in terms of the momentum change. For Williamson to be able to convert on a bucket like that. That would have been a big one. But instead, it's Stutz who's able to get in there, draw the charge.
They are guarding each other. Stutz on one end, and now Garrett Williamson guarding Logan Stutz.
And I think that's a bit of Bill Jones saying you can be a bit more physical. Don't be afraid to make plays like that.
Spatillo is step back jump shot. High arcer and soft touch into the net.
Well, right there, 2 big plays from 2 guys Windsor needs to have get going in this quarter.
Yes, that's a good sign for Windsor early on. Williamson up top. Johnson off the screen, misses badly. No rim at all, just off the backboard. See if Windsor can hang in here. Tillo up top, White on top of him. A big mismatch inside with Johnson and Keith, number 23 and number 1. Johnson working hard. There comes a double team quickly from Williamson, but Patillo again with the high arcer. Makes his second one and falls flat on his back after the shot, but he's made 2 in a row. We know that's his comfort zone, is the foul line extended. And that kind of distance.
And just like that, he's doubled his first quarter production with those 2 buckets there.
Down the 4-point lead. Williamson on Stutz again. Loses the ball and throws it away. Williamson does. Just dribbled it off his foot, I think.
Yeah, a bit of a disjointed start here from London. I don't think either of us were expecting that.
2 quick turnovers by the Lightning, which Windsor has cashed in both of them. So again, focusing on Patillo. He gets hard to the hoop and 2 hands up strong off the backboard, takes the punishment, and he is pumped up. You can see he is ready for the second half. 3 straight baskets by Juan Patillo.
And just like that, Windsor able to go on potentially an 8-0 run to start the quarter. And I mean, that's just a monster effort there. A lot of that coming from Juan Patillo. Just a beast on the offensive end right now for Windsor. Again, we didn't see much of him at all in that first. We saw him on the floor, but not a lot of production in that first half. He's come here in the second half like a man possessed.
7 straight points for Juan Patillo. Joel Friesen in quickly for Ryan Anderson. Trying to get the ball into Royce White. That's been their sort of center of attention all game, or all season really, has been. That time good defense by Juan Patillo with his own spinorama dribble. Logan Stutz dribbling the ball as well. And a quick shot, and he makes it. The confidence is flowing in Windsor. Warren Ward, they have taken the lead 59-57.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that they're slowing the ball down here for London. Windsor just a ton of momentum and swagger going right now.
Just freezing with the ball, a little behind the dribble. Back behind the dribble, unable to convert. Got too far underneath the basket, and Windsor's doing sort of their semi-break. And that's Patillo again, unable to finish, but a great bounce pass by Warren Ward. Patillo running the floor hard and gets rewarded with the foul shots.
Again, Juan Patillo just playing out of his mind to start this half here.
London going with a little more size. Johnson coming off. Anderson back on the floor. I think Coach Kyle Julius has some specific instructions for Ryan Anderson that he wanted to talk to him on the sideline, hence the quick substitution with freezing. Patillo makes his first foul shot and extends the lead to 3. What a turnaround for the Windsor Express.
Well, I mean, anytime you can start a half on a 11, potentially 12-point run, that's a good go. That's a good look for your team.
Well, nobody said it was going to be easy. Windsor's a good team. A couple of great pickups at the end. This is White just forcing his way in. Even Patillo couldn't hold his ground against White once he made his mind up to get to the basket. Bit of a switch underneath. Patillo again has the mismatch, but they're unable to get it into him. Just keep showing over the side. They want to get it badly into Patillo because he's one-on-one with Cadogan. Nobody helping. The high arcing jump shot on the buzzer. He is feeling it.
I'm pretty sure Juan Patillo's got every basket for the Windsor Express in this quarter here.
I think he does. Up top for Anderson. Stutz on him again into White. Backing down Patillo. And he just throws it softly off the backboard. Draws the foul. He is so smooth at that, Royce White, holding his position. Is that on Patillo?
Not sure who the call was there. Might have been on Duncan, I think, who came in late.
Okay. Just wondering what Patillo's got for foul trouble, if he's anywhere near any kind of foul trouble. So he got none, do I see?
He has 0 fouls so far.
He is not in trouble, so he can play his brains out. Got 6 fouls to go in the half.
I mean, he has been playing his brains out.
He's been shooting the ball. Unbelievable. White sort of holding them in. The London Lightning keeps it back within 1. Mo Bolden back in. He's going to be matching up against Logan Stutz.
I think they kind of need his length in the game here, too.
That's Ward up top of the ball with White on him. Shoots a long 3, and oh my goodness. He's made 2 threes, and Patillo scored all the rest. They got their shooting eyes on, do Windsor. Again, this is White taking to the hoop, unable to convert, but draws the foul again. He just has such great foot placement, like the way that
his footwork, his foot speed.
It really is, and he just keeps his balance and his strength all the time. It's just hard to keep him off that rim. He's at the foul line again. Lots of practice there if he keeps on going. Misses his first one. Makes his second. It rattles all the way around the rim, but it's in. It's a little full court pressure here I see from Anderson on Duncan. He'd be a hard man to keep pressed at his speed. Ward with 2 big timely threes already way up top. He's got some size to shoot over some of the players. That time throws it far to the side. First turnover in the half for Windsor.
Couldn't come at a better time for London. Maybe this is a chance to spark a little bit of energy into their offense here.
And Cadogan not anticipating the quickness of Duncan. He picks up that bounce pass, and this is a heat check, and he is officially on fire. 3 in a row for Warren Ward.
And again, a former London Lightning player. He was here last year. You know he doesn't mind giving it a bit to the Lightning here.
And there is... That's White just muscling his way through the double team. He was looking desperately for somebody to cut to the hoop, but couldn't find a route and just decided, I'm just going to force my way through, and draws a foul. It's not a shooting foul, though. It's on the floor.
You're going to see a bit of an interesting matchup here. Doug Herring Jr. coming into the game here. He was actually traded for Warren Ward. There was a swap of player rights at the time. Doug Herring Jr.'s rights owned by the Windsor Express. Warren Ward's rights held by the London Lightning. And so they swapped players, and that's how London ended up with Doug Herring Jr. and Warren Ward with Windsor.
White unable to hang on to it. Leading a fast break to Stutz. He's got the long reach, and he finishes it off the backboard. Windsor is shooting the ball well here in the third quarter, have opened up an 8-point lead over the league-leading London Lightning on their home court, no less. I don't think London's lost here since the first game of the season, I do believe. So it will be quite an upset if Windsor can pull this off. This is Patillo with the ball between his legs. Wisely throws it back out to Duncan. So between Ward and Patillo, they have really keyed this resurgence by the Windsor Express. That time a holding foul, trying to keep Darren Duncan from getting to the rim. And then this
Pointland, we've seen him do it when he was here in London. He can really heat up and he can fill the bucket in a hurry, and that's what we saw here tonight. Yeah, we're having some difficulties with the stream here. We're working on them right now.
Well, I look at the assists. London had 20 assists at the half. They have none in this quarter so far, and it's showing on the scoreboard. Windsor closing that gap up to 18 now. 10 turnovers for the London Lightning, 5 I think in this third quarter.
Yeah, that's a concerning number for London, because a lot of their play has been really about taking care of the ball. All season long, they've routinely been the better-looking team in terms of that turnover margin. And this is the first game where we're really seeing a significant gap between them and another team in that turnover department.
So Doug Herring Jr. with Maurice Jones on him. Friesen also still on the court. Marvin Phillips makes a substitute, comes in as well. Over the top to Herring. Cannot finish, though. He rushed his shot, even though he had the much smaller defender on him. Some easy misses. Putbacks missed by the London Lightning. And hang time there by Darren Duncan. Just cuts it down the 9, does Marvin Phillips. And the only starter on the floor for London is Ryan Anderson. All the rest are on the bench. So the bench, which has been very good for Lightning. Backdoor cut that time, and you're allowed to touch it on the rim in this league. Don't think that's goaltending. If you think that's what it is. And Bolden, the spin move. Can he put it up high enough? He cannot. And that's going to be off of Herring. And no, he saves it, throws it off of Stutz's foot. A little bit of energy there. Bolden with a spinorama move, unable to put in the putback.
Excellent hustle there from Doug Herring Jr. to save a possession. And right now, London needing every possession they can get to make sure that they keep hanging around here.
I thought for a second he was going to call him for a travel, but that was a slow motion Euro step by the big guy. Maurice Bolden, 6'11", showing off his dribbling skills. Draws the foul and finishes the basket.
Great bucket there from Mo Bolden. There's another troubling foul. I believe that one was on Logan Stutz. That's going to be his 4th foul as well.
3-point play, the old-fashioned way. Cuts it down to 5. Maurice Jones just too quick for Doug Herring Jr. to stay in front of him. He draws the foul. And the ball to Stutz with Phillips on him. Nearly a turnover that time, but a good save by Darren Duncan. Ryan Anderson nearly stole that. Is he going to pull up for a jumper? He is. A step back. And he gets fouled, and he makes the shot, but it's not a three-pointer for sure, but it might be on the foul line.
Huge step back there from Duncan. Boy, did he ever separate with that. and then able to drill the shot. Doug Herring Jr. takes the
He must
foul
have
there.
sprung back 5 feet on that.
Something like that. I thought he was going to go right past the three-point line.
Standing backwards long jump or something. All of a sudden he's like 5 feet away.
The hardest to watch Olympic event, if it ever was one, the standing backward long jump.
But it looked like it. He definitely got separation and got fouled and made the shot, but not the foul shot. And Doug Herring, is he going to take advantage of his size inside? No, he kicks it back out to Phillips. Phillips wants to take it to the hoop. Nearly stolen by Maurice Jones with his quick hands, but Phillips able to save it. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Steps up for the three. It's the side of the backboard. Phillips is going to have to put it up quickly. Down to 1 second. Unable to convert, but the offensive board for Maurice Bolden. He gets his shot away. And no foul called. I think that's a good no call. That would have been on Stutz, and I don't think that was a foul. But Bolden showing his value underneath.
Great effort there from a guy who's really late joining this team. He's still trying to get his feet under him, and he's going to take a blocking foul there, though.
Looks like he was inside the restricted area on the pass. I don't think that'll be shooting. Well, but they are in the bonus already. Both teams are in the bonus. Around the 4-minute mark already. So Patillo coming in for Stutz. That's a great 1-2 combination sub, isn't it?
Well, I mean, who do you game plan for if at any point you're going to have one of those two on the floor?
Well, I would say Duncan's been sort of the spark plug, distributing the ball and some timely shots, but some hot shooting by Warren Ward early in this quarter. And Patillo with 7 straight points at one point. Just shot Windsor into the lead, which they've been holding on to since 76-69 it is. Cadogan coming in for Doug Herring Jr. Well, still Bolden, Friesen, and Anderson out there along with Phillips. Got Patillo, Keith, Jones. Bennett's still out there, along as now Ellenson's out there as well. Physical holding down by Leo below there. I think they're trying to free Anderson up with the screen on the side for the three-point shot. Instead, he'll go to the foul line. Both teams have to be careful of fouls, not just for personal fouls, but you're putting the other team on the foul line for 2 shots. In this league, when you get 7 fouls, you shoot 2 every time. It's not 1-on-1. And Anderson, one of the best free throw shooters in the league.
Certainly the best on the team, well over 80%. I think he's closer to 90, actually.
Phillips
I jinxed him.
High. You did jinx him. But they got the ball back between Phillips and Bolden. They got the ball back for another possession. See what Cadogan's setting up here. I think they want Anderson from the high one. And he makes it. That's a key shot for Ryan Anderson and the London Lightning to bring it back within 3.
This is a big run by London, and a gutsy one, too, to get themselves back in the game.
They're going to need to get some stops now as well. Windsor doing a good job trying to get putting the ball in the net. And this is the last second shot. Hard fight inside for Shaquille Keith, holding off the taller Bolden, but Anderson with the step back. He's feeling it. That's 2 in a row for him.
You want to talk about shooters who get hot. Ryan Anderson, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. He's feeling it. Windsor needs to watch out and at least try to stem this run just a little bit.
Down to 2-point lead. Keith out top with Bolden on him. Bolden moving his feet. He's got some length on him, but Keith has got the strength, and a silly reach-in foul by Bolden that time. He had decent position on him. He had the length on him. He's going to put him to the line for 2, like we said. Every foul this time from here on in, almost the last 4 minutes of this quarter, you're putting the other player on for 2 foul shots every time. The fouls added up quickly in this quarter. Nick Evans coming in for Keith, who has played well in this 3rd quarter, bringing physical presence. And I don't think we'll see DeAndre Thomas tonight, to be honest with you. I saw him limping quite a bit.
Yeah, he's got a hurt ankle.
Cadogan up top. Anderson, was going to take it. A nice ball fake by Phillips. Can he make it? He can. That's a big weapon for Marvin Phillips as well. They're down within one. Maurice Jones with the ball up top, looking inside, and nobody on the backdoor cut for Tony Bennett. Not sure what happened there. I think the defender turned his head, and by that time it was too late. Turnover again. High off the backboard. Maurice Jones takes the punishment. He just throws it up high off the backboard with a soft touch. And Bolden driving to the hoop, and Nick Evans just knocks it out of bounds.
Good job not taking a foul there. That was a little bit of a wild run there by Maurice Bolden, and Nick Evans able to just swat the ball away without making contact with the hands there. Good job.
This is freezing with Ellison on him, trying to see if he can get a shot off. A little ball fake, he gets him in the air, and off the backboard, no foul. Juan Patil just managed to avoid landing back on Friesen after he went for that head fake. Here is one quick guy with the ball, Maurice Jones. The smallest guy on the court, but he is fast and he plays well. That's a bad miss by Nick Evans. Ryan Anderson, is he going to take it all the way? A little hesitation. He steps back for the three instead, and he's feeling it. 3 in a row. He's officially on fire.
Ryan Anderson having a huge impact with those absolutely clutch threes. We have a tie game here. We'll see if Windsor can answer.
That was key for London to get somebody to get hot, and that turned out to be Mr. Anderson. Jones with a step back over top of Cadogan. He is dynamite. The rookie of the year for the NBL, and now you can see why. Sure what's happening here is like Anderson holding his arms in the corner like he got fouled, but nothing's happening. Cadogan just waiting patiently for the shot clock to run down. It's about a 6-second differential here. They are definitely going to double team Anderson. Not a good foul that time. And the alley-oop does not make it. That would have been a terrific finish. Another turnover. It's like schoolyard basketball here. Who's going to make the last shot? And then there's a slap on the head at the very half there by the rookie of the year, losing his composure, Maurice Jones. He slaps Ryan Anderson above top of the head after that wild half-court shot, and it's getting heated up here at the Budweiser Gardens.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened there, but Ryan Anderson,
well, you'll see him
very angry.
You'll see maybe after we get through all these replays here, and it gets to the very last possession of the game, or of that quarter, where took that last second shot. Maurice Jones missed badly. I don't know if Ryan Anderson said something to him, but he took offense and he just slapped Anderson on top of the head. I think the referee's seen it as well. Of course, they don't have the benefit of replay like we do down there. If this was the NBA, that would be flagrant foul 1 or flagrant 2. We'll see if anything happens of it all.
Well, the refs have an opportunity here to just see what's going on. I think they're talking to find out what happened.
I saw it clearly because I happened to be looking right at those two after that shot, wondering what was going on. I saw it clearly. So 84-86.
Pardon me, John, you said you saw it clearly. What would be your judgment if you were the referee on that?
I would be giving a technical foul to Maurice Jones, yeah. Absolutely.
Interesting quarter, though. Of course it was interesting. I mean, the way Windsor came back to start that quarter, Juan Patillo absolutely on fire. Windsor put up 37 points in that third quarter. That's a monster number, but London did a great job fighting back at the end there to keep this a close game. Windsor's shooting percentage up almost 10%, thank you to that third quarter. And their three-point shooting, also astronomical, went way up with that quarter. Just basically the only thing that changed for Windsor was they executed. They made all the shots that they were supposed to make. A lot of the ones that we saw them miss were starting to go for them in that quarter. And I mean, when you face a hot shooting team, it's hard to stop. I think London did as good as could be expected based on the ridiculous run Windsor went on to start that quarter.
So it looks like nothing being announced for fouls. Anderson's upset on the sideline. I can see his coach just encouraging him to shrug it off. 86-84 after all that. Back and forth. The last 30 seconds were just a little chaotic. But 2-point lead for the Windsor Express, who shot the ball well, like you said, in that third quarter. But they came out with a lot more intensity. In particular, Juan Patillo came out with a ton of intensity and sparked his team. And some hot shooting by Warren Ward as well. And then finally matched by Ryan Anderson to bring the game back close to 2 points. But I think it's getting heated up now for this fourth quarter, getting a little more intense. And Phillips with the man board. In traffic, I call those a man board. So Cadogan up top. I wonder if he'll try to take advantage of his size differential. This is Bolden. He's much quicker than Evans. He's got the ball way up high. See what he does here. He gives it up back to Cadogan. Cadogan pulling up for the jump shot, unable to convert. And Nick Evans cleans it up for Windsor. Bennett taking a long three. He was hot earlier, and he
still
has continued
Holy.
From the second quarter, and the three-point game is happening. This is like the Houston Rockets in the first game against the San Antonio Spurs. How would they hit, like 26 threes or something out of 50? But they got hammered last night, though.
Oh, boy, did they.
San Antonio crushed them, but this is reminiscence, and they are another three. Oh, my goodness. This James Harden all over again here. The the Windsor Express, sorry, looking like the Houston Rockets.
Well, that's 6 3-pointers in the game from Tony Bennett. 6 of 10 shooting, just huge numbers from the former London Lightning guard.
I think that was a good decision by Friesen not to take the quick three, trying to get tempted into matching that. What Windsor's doing, good ball fake. Nick Evans drawing the foul. Well, Royce White back in. Maurice Bolden, he did a good job when he was in there. Poor Royce White coming off the bench. And now Royce White, the mainstay, the MVP of the league, no less, on the floor for the Lightning, down by 8 against a hot shooting second half, in particular, Windsor Express.
I don't know if they've got like Michael Jordan's secret stuff on the Windsor sideline, but whenever they come out of a quarter, they just seem to come out on fire.
London's going to need to match the intensity, not even just alone the shooting, but just the intensity as well. Cadogan taking advantage of his size, and Jones just backs right off for a quick 2. What will London need to do to counteract the hot shooting from wide open again is Bennett. He just made 2 in a row. Nobody on him.
Joel Friesen's limping down here.
Not sure. He's talking to the ref. I don't know what is the call there. Is he calling an injury kind of possession for London? Is that what the ref did? So Joel Friesen get off the floor?
I think he might have. I'm not sure.
Turnover or anything.
No, and I don't think there was a foul either. So
I think he just called the whistle because he saw Friesen hurt on the sideline. He is limping off badly. Is Friesen one of the more tenacious defenders for the London Lightning, as well as a good three-point shooter. Phillips on the floor along with White. So 2 bigs on for Lightning. Phillips going hard, and he's finished. Tried to grab that. Oh, rebound and put it back down. Unable to convert. Patillo with the high, soft jumper.
Ooh, that's
unable
a shot.
Convert. That's a favor to London getting the ball back so quickly. No foul called. Johnson in as well. He can shoot threes as well. Anderson into the corner to Cadogan. I think Anderson maybe should have taken that shot. Phillips just bodies his player. Again, he's just looking for some contact. Ref's letting a lot go. And Phillips puts it in, and Windsor complaining to the ref. He just says, get off the floor, get off the floor. What are you thinking? This is playoff basketball. This is your style. You like it physical. Phillips playing physical. Oh my goodness. Maurice Jones with the easy jumper.
You know, it's funny, we think about Windsor as that team that's the crashers and bangers, but their shooting has been incredible tonight, especially from long range in the second half.
Phillips feeling it, not able to convert. And a long run out by Patillo. And hung in the air did Royce White, trying his best to block that shot, but just could not stop his forward. Momentum's crashing into Patillo, but he did prevent the basket.
You know, Royce has been good with the fouls tonight. That's only his second in the game.
After that long three-point attempt by Phillips, He did not watch Juan Patillo, his man, run out on the fast break after that three-pointer. He should have run with Patillo back, and White had to cover for him. If you're the last guy back on that three, you got to also back on D if your man takes off. And Patillo makes the shots. They are up by 8 points with a little over 8 minutes to go. Windsor looking good to upset London Lightning in this first game of the second round in London's home building. Anderson continues his hot shooting. He's keeping them in the game so far with his three-pointers and that soft jumper. Now can London get some stops here? They've allowed a lot of points here in this second half for the Windsor Express. It's going to be a mismatch inside Cadugan and Patillo. They're looking for it. Cadugan does have strength, and that's going to be White getting the foul on Maurice Jones. He can't believe he got it called. I think Jones sort of leaned all over White that time. The crowd is booing, but Jones is going to the line because he drew that foul. If you look on the replay, I do believe Royce White has a case to be made. He really did not do anything to cause that foul. In fact, he was trying to get out of the way. They let a lot go down here on the Windsor end, and they call that what I would call a ticky-tack foul.
Yeah.
I haven't said that much this year, but it's a ticky-tack foul.
But the fouls have actually been quite in London's favor. London with only 15 fouls on the game. Windsor committed 22 fouls. Pardon me, that's 17 fouls for London, 22 for Windsor. And that's only the third on Royce White. So, again, at this point in the game, 3 is not a terrible number to be at.
Over the back call on Juan Patillo. I think it's another ticky-tack foul. I'm not being a homer or anything. I'm thinking that time Windsor got poor call. I'm not sure why some of those calls are being made. Garrett Williamson cleanly got the rebound, got a little bit of a bump, but it didn't affect anything, and Patillo gets a foul. He's talking to the ref as well, wondering why there were no fouls down the other end. Garrett Williamson back in the game after a bit of a rest, takes it to the hole. That's Anderson again, unable to convert, but he gets his own rebound, and he's working Oz so hard underneath and puts it back in, single-handedly keeping London in the game.
Great hustle from Ryan Anderson. He's got 20 points in this game, the majority of which have come in basically the back half of the third quarter and the start of the fourth here.
Jones in and out. Nearly stolen by Bennett that time. Anderson with the rebound. This Kyle Johnson should be putting it in to Williamson. That should be a foul. That's a good foul. That ball zipped down the court, and Williamson took the contact, couldn't finish it. 98-92, 6-point lead. And what we really have on the floor are the 5 starters again from the London Lightning.
Essentially.
And bench scoring.
In fact, exactly, pardon me.
Significant difference here. Windsor's bench with 36 points, London with 19. Usually you see it the other way around.
Yeah, Windsor's a team coming in that we thought were going to have to lean on their starters, but it's been their bench carrying the day. London, the exact opposite. We thought it was going to be their depth. That's what they've been doing all year, but really that starting 5, what's been their, as some would like to call the death lineup, because they usually tear apart some of the other teams. They've been having a great game so far, but the depth hasn't shown up.
Well, Jones still on the floor. He's getting some significant playing time. Cadugan trying to stay in front of him, and he still finishes with that off-foot, backwards leaning fadeaway jumper. I don't know how else to say it. He was on Elsa's off foot. He shot that ball on with Cadugan all in his face. Just a terrific ability to get his shot off. It's Cadugan. He's going to go to the hole, take the contact. Nothing called, but the ball stays alive, and Williamson with it. They're working hard on the offensive boards. That's really rewarding the London Lightning back to 4 points again. Jones just weaving and bobbing his way through traffic. This is Darren Duncan with the ball. The step back again. And the finish. Oh my goodness. Some terrific ball play by the point guards from the Windsor Express.
Well, each of their guards, Bennett, Jones, and Duncan, are just feeling it right now. They're shooting the lights out. Stutz backing right off on Garrett Williamson. So he steps up
takes the 15-footer from the foul line and drains it. This is White. That's Cadogan holding down Patillo because he got caught on the switch.
I'm okay with that foul because that would have been an easy 2 points for Patillo if you don't take it.
I think so too. That's only the third team foul for London Lightning. So we're at the 6-minute mark here. 4-point lead for the Windsor Express. Doug Herring Jr. coming in for Kyle Johnson. Kyle Johnson's been sort of quiet tonight on the scoring side of it. This is White against Patillo. Stutz with a high screen and Williamson with the switch. That's still a good match. Just Keith back into Patillo. Williamson trying to stay with him. That was a travel, I would say, yes. Took an extra step to get that shot off. Timeout called. 102-98. Williamson doing a good job staying in front of Patillo that time. So this has really heated up in the second half. The first half is sort of going back and forth. London, for the most part, staying ahead by 10 or 12. Windsor sort of staying in the game, but they came on fire in that third quarter. Some hot shooting put them right into the lead, and then some hot shooting by Ryan Anderson to save the day for the London Lightning to keep them in this game. That's only a 4-point difference.
Yeah, Ryan Anderson up to the 20-point mark, and again, the majority of that coming in this second half. He's been a bit of their MVP in this game because it was at a time where guys weren't really getting it going that he stepped up. And speaking of MVPs in the game, Garrett Williamson up to 23 points. He's really been kind of Mr. Steady throughout the game for the London Lightning. He started out the game on fire, but he never really cooled off. He just consistently provided offense at times where London needed it. Those two really leading the day for London. I think one of the other stories is Windsor. Their guards are just shooting the ball phenomenally. They're up to 6 players in double digits scoring in this game, led by Tony Bennett with his 20, 6 of 11 shooting from the 3-point line, 11 3-pointers taken. But he's almost exclusively been shooting beyond the arc, and he's been making a lot of them.
Well, we'll call him James Harden for now. How's that? Hopefully he doesn't fade like Harden did last night. So. How about the Spurs winning without Kawhi Leonard?
Or Parker.
Or Parker, yeah, absolutely.
Impressive.
Rookie guard starting.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, let's see who can pull it out here for the Windsor Express and the London Lightning. Cadogan looking inside for Royce White. Immediately spins, goes to the basket, and lays it up. Stutz just had to back off, didn't want to get his 5th foul.
I love that last step he made to pull himself away from Patillo, though. Created a ton of space with that move.
Quickly jumps out on Jones. He's got his hands on his hip. He can't do that. Can't steer the player where you want him to go, especially when there's such a size difference and the referee calls it right away. He just puts his hand on his hip, Maurice Jones' hip, and he just pushes him wherever he wants. They switch in every screen to London, so that gets them in trouble sometimes as well. Stutz with the ball. I think I was knocked out by Anderson. Stutz had a good interior position that time. 2-point game here. A little over 5 minutes to go. Duncan with the ball in the corner. That's Williamson on him. He's a large, taller defender. Stutz down underneath with the smaller defender. That's Doug Herring Jr. Does a good job forcing him into an awkward shot. Royce White bringing the ball up slow. Is he going to take to the hoop? He does. Lays it up with the scoop. Shot. Terrific. Just caught Patillo right off guard. Patillo and White having a battle down there. Oh my goodness. That 3-penny goes down, shooting the 6 guns. Did you see that from Darren Duncan?
Got a little dance going too.
They are playing hard, both teams, shooting well, both teams going to their strengths are both teams. White inside. It's Williamson with the 3, a little too strong that time. And that was Doug Herring Jr. inside. I believe he got pulled down by Darren Duncan. He did a good job getting inside for that offensive rebound. Does not put him in the bonus yet. That's only the 4th team foul, I believe. Possibly 5th for Windsor. But it will be London's ball with a new shot clock. Anderson, ooh, fadeaway jumper from the corner. That was tough. That would have been LeBron-like. Remember that one?
That would have been a pretty one, yeah.
Yes. That was a set play, so he was all ready to shoot it up. Windsor slowing the play down a little bit here. And it's Patillo, he likes that jump shot. It's a nice looking shot. He's unable to convert that time. Herring with the rebound. Cadogan looking to go hard to the hoop. He gets hammered and he finishes the scoop shot. Again, Cadogan going hard to the hoop. That's on Patillo, I believe. How many fouls will that be on him? 4.
That's going to be Patillo's 4th there, and I love that play by Cadogan. Just takes it to the rim, and now they've got a very important free throw here to tie it up and try and keep that tie going here. We'll see if he can make it.
So Cadogan at the line for the old-fashioned 3, as we call it. And he buries it. Tie ball game. 4 minutes to go. Both teams playing well in this 4th quarter. This is Jones with the ball up top. Again, the big switch. Cadogan's now on Patillo. They switch no matter what up top, even if it's the big. And London gets exposed sometimes underneath. Herring, oh nice, lovely left hand scoop by Duncan. He looks back at Herring with that look. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think
a little mano-mano going there.
He's not just scoring, but he's letting people know when he does it.
Williamson resetting the play, I think. Not good spacing at the moment for the Lightning. They're going to be down to 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Cadogan does not hit the rim. That's because I think spacing with White and Doug Herring Jr. really screwed up that play. White had nowhere to go.
Well, also there was a double team, and Royce tried to dribble out of it, and just kind of lost the handle there.
So, timeout call. Windsor up by 2. Take a breath. I think we go into the final, 4 minutes or so? See what happens. See if Windsor can keep their hot shooting. That has really been the key to their spark. Well, I think the key was Patillo with that quick 7 points in the beginning of that 3rd quarter. You could just see his intensity had ramped up so much, and I think it rubbed off on the other players, and they just shot with confidence, and their confidence kept growing and growing.
Completely agree. Patillo made those early shots, got it going, and then, I mean, if you're a guy like Tony Bennett who was shooting well in the first half, and you see, man, he's doing it, maybe I should try it, and then he starts draining his shots. Ward drained his shots, and I mean, that Patillo jumper, when he's just at the corner of the key there, he gets so much height when he jumps in the shot, and that's the thing, a lot of people with their jump shots, they don't necessarily jump as high as they can. Patillo just about tickles the rafters when he jumps for that shot. That's such a high release point on it, makes it hard to defend.
Absolutely. So Windsor really coming back after a bit of a lackluster first half, I would say would probably be the best way to say it. No physical play and not very good shooting either, but they just turned it on in the 3rd quarter, continue on the 4th. To London's credit, they were down by 10 as well, somewhere in that 3rd quarter, and Ryan Anderson's shooting got them back. And now it's sort of back and forth battle, 1 possession game, 107-105 with 3 minutes and seconds to go here at the Budweiser Gardens. I'm Jonathan Howling along with Chris Croucher calling the game for you tonight. Hope you're enjoying yourselves in this battle of what we call the Central Division Titans. A lot of history here. Each club has won 2 championships. Right, London and Windsor out of the 5 so far that have been played in the NBL. So there are 4 championships sitting here on the floor. Ryan Anderson with a bit of a late closeout. That was a long cross-court pass from Maurice Jones. He's been playing a lot of minutes.
There hasn't been an NBL final in which it wasn't one of these 2 teams coming out of the NBL Central.
That's right, because London lost last year in the final. So one of these 2 teams has been in the final every year. You're right.
In fact, there's only, since Windsor's inception, I believe there's only been 1 year where these 2 haven't met in the playoffs.
Towel boy got caught by surprise.
No kidding. Oh, man.
Anderson saw it in time.
I'm just glad he didn't put a foot down.
And it's a tie ball game with that terrific steal at half court by Ryan Anderson. He's been the star for the London Lightning tonight. Seeing a switch again, and it's Cadogan with Patillo underneath. Will they get the ball to him? They do. What is he going to do with it? Turning around jumper. Unable to convert that time. Good pressure from Cadogan. A lot of players sort of arguing between themselves what to be called, but looks like they got their play set up now and their spacing. This is Garrett Williamson taking it to the hole. And he finishes with his left hand. Shaquille Keith felt there was a foul there, but I did not see it.
I didn't think so either. I thought that was just a beautiful cut there. Williamson getting himself to the rim. Just like that, London has their first lead in a while.
Yeah, I think 3 minutes into the third quarter, Windsor took the lead and hasn't given it back until now. This is Herring with Patillo. Patillo and Herring, just a battle in there. There's going to be a foul call in there. I think a step back on the buzzer, and look who's fighting hard in there is Keith. No foul called. Windsor upset. It's London ball into the side to Anderson. Not that time, but who gets it but White? He brings it back out to reset the play.
Smart. This slows down the clock too. Kill a little bit more time. Only a minute 15 left.
2-point, one possession game. Williamson again, he wants to get to the hole if he can. And he does. He takes the contact, and White unable to finish one-handed. Trying to get a jump ball. He does, and it is going to be London possession. Smart play by Royce White. He's a little mad he missed the easy putback, but it was a smart idea to put his hands on the ball and not foul. That should be London ball with a new shot clock as well.
Yeah, that, I mean, as far as not getting a rebound, that went pretty well for London. And if you're not going to get the ball, they're going to have the possession arrow go their way. I believe we've got a timeout coming from London here.
We do. 1 minute and 2 seconds to go. I'm not sure if I were Windsor, I'd be putting Tony Bennett back out on the floor. 6 out of 11 three-pointers. He's not on the floor right now.
Not just that, he's a very good defender. He's a pretty clutch guy, and he's got that championship experience.
Well, we'll see after this possession if he makes a quick sub. I see Logan Stutz is back on the sideline, so he'll be coming in for the Windsor Express. I like that comment there. Ryan Anderson is like Steph Curry. He has been tonight, so.
Again, these two teams, I mean, we talked about how often they've run into each other in playoffs, how close each one of those games has been. And I mean, we've got another doozy tonight. These two teams consistently battle, consistently put it down to the wire to decide who's going to win. You get this crowd, this kind of atmosphere, and we got an exciting finish coming up.
Well, both teams have 5 team fouls, so they both have a foul to give as well in this last minute of play. And that might come into play, especially if London can convert here. They may use one of their fouls to slow the Windsor Express down. So both teams with a foul to give, both with 5 team fouls. London ball at the end, Junior Cadogan throwing it long to Garrett Williamson. I'm sure they're going to run a bit of time off of this shot clock. There's still 20 seconds left on it. Anderson working hard to get to the open shot, but it's going to come into White. Gets double teamed. Does the fadeaway turnaround, unable to convert. And London gets it back. Still unable to hang on to it.
Now they get to kill the clock here.
They do. Stutz edging real quick for Anderson. Anderson with the ball down low. Puts it in the corner. This is Cadogan. Throws it back in the corner to Anderson. Can he make the clutch three? Unable to convert. And there's 20 seconds left. No timeout called by Windsor. They're going to play it out. It's a one-possession game. London's going to need to make sure they deny the threes. That's a foul, but they have a foul to give, which is a great foul by Royce White. He's a little upset, but then he realizes actually that was a good play. 8 seconds to go.
It's going to be a timeout on Windsor there.
They made Windsor waste some time because they got the ball with 20 seconds left. Now there's only 8, so they made Windsor eat up some possession, and then when they tried to step back for the three, he fouled them. stops the clock. No foul shots because they had a foul to give. So
Leaves 21 seconds there for Windsor to come up with a play, get the shot off. You got to think they're going to kill some clock before they take that shot. But again, limited amount of time here.
I think they take the first open shot they can get. They need a 2 to tie, 3 to win, but you take the first good look if I'm Windsor. And if you make it, London has possession with 3 or 4 seconds left. You just got to play some good defense.
You don't worry about London making that shot the other end?
No, you got to get your basket first before that. You can even worry about it.
Fair enough.
Why worry about London's possible shot when you haven't got yours in the basket yet? Take the best shot you can, whatever comes easiest or opens up first. Everybody needs to be ready for it. This is to London's advantage here, even though Windsor gets to set up a play. They get to reset on defense. And I'm sure they're going to say, no fouls and no three-pointers. That's what they're going to say. And if the guy's driving the lane, then you're going to foul him.
Pardon me, there's 8 seconds left.
So I said 8 seconds.
My bad.
What do you think it was?
I said 21 earlier.
Oh, no, they had the ball at 21. They wasted it to 8, and then White fouled them, which I thought was a great foul, to be honest with you. So is Bennett out there? I'm thinking he should be. I see Patillo, Stutz, Maurice Jones,
I believe that's
Duncan,
Bennett.
and Bennett in the corner, guarded by the other compatriot on the other side, Ryan Anderson, the matching three-pointers. Ball up high with Darren Duncan up top. Bennett does get his shot off, and Patillo nearly gets the offensive boards. And I don't know, White was a little lackadaisical on an offensive board, but it paid off. London's defense allows them to escape with a 109-107. A little bad blood coming now between Royce White and some of the Windsor players. There's the big guy that we know always causes trouble. That's DeAndre Thomas. He hasn't even played all game, but he's always got bad blood for London ever since he's left. And Coach Bill Jones puts him in a bear hug and pulls him away. But there has been bad blood over the years between these two teams. Best thing is to get the two teams off the court, as the coaches are doing, and as is the owner. A 109-107 final battle win for the London Lightning. They pulled it out. DeAndre Thomas still talking. Let's go out in the parking lot, he says. Well, I think that's nonsense. So in the end, London does pull out a terrific second half by the Windsor Express to make it a ball game. They lose by 2. We'll be back here Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Chris and I will call the game again. We'll come back to you after the break with Aaron and Chris to do a wrap-up. But again, fans from the Budweiser Gardens, London Lightning 109, the Windsor Express 107.
Well, there's no other words to describe what we've seen in the final few seconds. You could go back to the tape and check it, but at the end of it, it's the London Lightning prevailing by 2 in a close dogfight, 109-107. And Chris Croucher, we've seen in the second half the Lightning coming alive. They had the intensity, they had the adrenaline on their side, but looking at the piece of paper, Garrett Williamson sees the day leading all scoring with about 25 points.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster, especially in the early going. When London came out to that hot start, he was a big part of that. But he never really stopped scoring. He consistently brought points into the game for London as the game continued. He never really went away. And I think that consistency is a big part of when London had... when Windsor made that run and London was having difficulties in the third quarter, guys like Williamson, guys like Anderson bringing that consistency was a big part of what helped London survive this game.
Williamson was hot to trot in the first half, scoring double digits even before the first half buzzer went off. But what about Tony Bennett and Darren Duncans? Their contributions in the backcourt for Windsor, they're the reasons why they had the lead and kept this game as close as it was this evening.
Well, their shooting was incredible in this game, and they were a huge part of Windsor in that third quarter, that dynamite one they had. Tony Bennett, I don't know what it was about him tonight, but every three-pointer he shot, I was like, it's going in. I didn't even care about how contested it was. It looked good every single time. It was just one of the top players being on top of his game today.
And it's quite interesting to see DeAndre Thomas on the bench for the whole game. You've seen the foot injury in Game 3 in that KW series, but filling in his space would be none other than Nick Evans coming back. But the battle of the front court was pretty fierce, especially when you look at it in the transition. But London Lightning prevailed, especially with Royce White finishing the job as he's been doing the whole season.
Yeah, and I thought he really stepped up at the end of the game there. He was the MVP for a reason. He really stepped up, got London a lot of those points at the end of the game to help them close out. And, I mean, it was tight, but they did it.
As physical as this game is, what can we expect on this Mother's Day battle? I'm sure it's going to be a mother of all battles, but what has to be expected for both clubs going in?
Well, based on the physicality of the series, you might not want your mother watching. I think it's going to be a bit of a battle there because both these teams are going to go to war on the floor here. It's going to be a battle, and I think London, they've learned a lot from this game. I think there's a lot of tape now that they can feel confident in. Again, Windsor's a team that's kind of been changing their roster throughout. This is their first good look at Windsor's roster as it currently is. So I think London can go into the film room and feel a little bit better about what they're seeing, a little more confident that what they're seeing is going to be what they see on the court.
And come Sunday, mum's the word, like we said before. Garrett Williamson finishes off with 25 points in this Game 1 duel. London has the lead and the home court advantage still. We're back on Sunday. Like I said, Mother's Day, a 3 p.m. tip. We'll have the pregame for you 10 minutes before that. But for now, that's it from here. We wrap it up. 109-107, London Lightning taking Game 1 and what was an unbelievable roller coaster ride throughout. We thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good to your mothers and be good to yourself, okay? This has been a presentation of Knockstrom Digital Media, producing the media excellence in Southern Ontario. For Chris Croucher, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Forest City.